Two unemployed actors, two unemployed actors. They're just between projects.
Welcome back to Two Unemployed Actors. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
And we have a full show today. I've got, instead of printing out my usual list of Fred, no humping the arm, mate.
Usual list of Fred.
For those of you listening and not looking at our YouTube channel, Fred is decided that as soon as the camera goes on, he wants to hump my arm.
He thinks it's a porno.
And yeah, he turns it into a porn shoot. The vet took his balls away 3 years ago, so he's got nothing to sing about. But anyway, we'll let Fred calm down. I've got a post-it note with scribble. It looks like, could you read my handwriting?
You have the worst handwriting
Correct.
out of everyone I know.
Because I've had a couple of days on set and I'm a bit stuffed, you know, feeling my age.
Excuses.
So yeah, that's my excuse.
For the bad handwriting.
I scribbled stuff down in a real hurry as I came downstairs. I'll be talking about something if I can read my handwriting.
Yep, that's good.
But Sam, you've been busy. Because
Yeah,
we missed a week last week. You've been
Yes.
full on, mate. Tell us what's been going on.
Yeah, well, found
Don't
out-
leave anything out.
I will not. I will go in full detail. This will be about 2-hour episode.
Uh-oh.
So yesterday found out that Not Today, that short film that I did,
Yes.
was accepted into a film festival in Cannes. Not Cannes Film Festival, but it's a festival in Cannes, Indie Shorts Awards.
Oh, brilliant.
Which is very exciting. Still pending on some others, which is also exciting.
Okay.
But yeah, it was great. I got a text from the director being like,
Look what happened.
I haven't found any flights to France, but it looks like our world premiere will be in France. So that's pretty cool.
That's great. Congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome
you. Yeah.
achievement.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And I guess I can just add that onto my showreel somehow.
Absolutely. And because it's a full-on serious short film, remembering correctly. It's decent, very emotional.
Yeah, and it's well
Very
shot.
dark.
It's well shot. So I think we're in the category for best foreign film,
Okay, great.
which is funny because, well, we are foreign.
I know.
You know what I
It's
mean?
funny, isn't it? I know.
There are a couple
To Cannes, absolutely foreign.
And this is the first year that this one has run. So hit or miss, but I think it could be really good. And there's a couple other Aussie films in the running. So should be good.
Best of luck, champ. Break a leg, as they say.
Thanks, mate.
Because I think you've just finished shooting what we talk of you and short films together. Finished shooting Misdirection, which we talked a little about last week.
Yes.
And I do have a confession to make. I voiced over the start and the end.
Yeah, you did.
So, which is fantastic. Not sure what I can talk about, but I can say that my booming voiceover is in the first scene and the last, I believe. And it's great. So you just said off camera that it was the first time we've been in a short film together. So it's true.
Technically, like Max's
we'll
face
take it.
isn't seen, but it's his voice. Yeah,
you can see and hear Sam. You can hear me. It's good enough. It's good enough.
So
We're still in it.
For those who don't know, I did a film called Misdirection, and they needed a voiceover artist for the beginning and the end.
Yep.
And I suggested Max, and
Happy to
he
step
just told
up.
me that he did actually, like, the guy approached him.
It was good fun. It was really good fun. So
gonna be cool.
I'm pretty excited. I can't wait to share when that comes
Yeah,
available because it sounds exciting. I can say it sounds exciting because it's my voice.
We should share it and be like two unemployed actors get on
unemployed,
set.
get employed briefly for a short film.
Yeah, together.
No, that's great. No, I enjoyed working through that. I did a couple of redos to get the right boom and the right sound. I basically just recorded me yelling into the microphone with a bit of acting, obviously, and then they'll add the effects later. Just me yelling into a mic. That's all it is. Sprinkle in a bit of acting.
Yeah.
Bit of acting magic.
There we go. I have an audition today. I got a message from my agent. It's
awesome. Oh, you've had it, or are you having one?
No, I'm going to do a self-tape this afternoon.
That's why, for those watching on the podcast channel, we're matching in our acting uniforms.
Yes.
The black t-shirts.
Yeah.
Although I didn't have an audition today.
No.
It just passed the smell test as being
today.
clean.
I had my side job today. That's why I'm wearing this.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we're both not.
These details.
Yeah.
So what's the audition? Tell us.
So
is it television commercial or is it film?
I'm not quite sure what they're going to use it for. It's for Canva. You know that online?
Yeah. So it could be social media advertising or something.
Yeah.
Canva's huge. That it's
I don't know
spend
how
on
much I
social
can
media.
say, but I have to speak for the audition, US accent as well.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. So I got to send that back by tonight. So it's going to be good. So hopefully I get it.
Yeah, best of luck.
It seems like it's more online stuff just because of the amount I'd be paid.
They do heaps
based on
online.
speaking.
I mean, obviously clarify
well.
it, yeah, but they do heaps.
But that's all good, and we're all another thing.
Yeah,
that we're all waiting on. Maybe not you. I don't know. Maybe you. I don't
maybe
know.
not. Maybe I'll
but
sleep through it.
Every youngish
that's not me.
actor in Australia and New Zealand are waiting on Heartbreak High.
The reboot
to get an audition. Everyone's submitted. I feel like everyone's agents have submitted them. My agent submitted me. I submitted myself. Everyone on the shoot.
I could play one of the teachers.
Do it.
And I remember the original with I think Zoe Carides and oh my god, we're going back a lot of. This is 90s we're talking about. Fred, no.
So everyone on the shoot in Cooked, which is the film I'm doing in Newcastle, has applied and they've gone through, and it's just like,
it's all happening.
It's so many people. You just don't. You know that there's everyone applies, but you don't know how many people actually apply.
No, I know.
It's ridiculous.
And it's worse when because if you're on your own, just applying, like you're one of many, but to actually meet all the others, like a lot of people applying, it just rubs it in.
Yeah, But that's exciting and should be good.
It should be good. Yeah, I can tell how enthusiastic you sound.
Should be good. Except the original, correct me if I'm wrong, was more ethnic than just white people, right?
It was more ethnic and ahead of its time in terms of diversity representation.
So I have a feeling they're not going to go backwards.
In the 90s, that was, I think if I remember correctly, it was a school sort of in the outer-ish suburbs of Melbourne. Okay. And there was a lot of that teenage angst, up and coming sort of issues relevant at the time, and then the relationships between the teachers and the students and that, all the drama, all the layers of drama. Yeah. So it was quite successful. I'm not surprised they're going to reboot it. It's interesting. It's 20 odd years later, but it's
going to be on Netflix. This is big. It's a big one.
No, it'd be great,
isn't it?
I've been busy rehearsing with a play still. We're still for Lipstick on the 24th to 27th. Tickets available. Just check out my socials. And rehearsals, we've moved on from my place because we need a bigger space. We need a space that actually represents the length of the stage because we're actually getting to the stage where being a comedy farce, there's lots of movement and it's just as complicated blocking as it is, how you deliver your lines and remembering your lines.
Sure.
And having survived a smaller space being my dining room without furniture, and our heckler in Fred, I think if we can perform a stumble run in that environment, we're fine. We're fine.
You're gonna be fine, yeah.
So rehearsals have been going really well for that. I got doors out the back in my carport as we speak because there was a moment where they're like, "Oh, we've got a tight budget. You don't need doors in this, we can just hang some beads or some paper streamers or something, or a flag from the doorway." I'm like, how do you slam a paper door? How do you slam, and the whole premise is a comedy farce. Everyone's coming in and out of the doors.
Yeah. So that's the important part.
I'm like, the one thing we can't do without. Anyway, so fortunately there was someone giving them away for free. I thank them very much for their contribution to the arts. And volunteered to pick them up.
Oh, good. Is it one of those faux doors? The one on wheels and stuff?
No. Well, I mean, it will be, but they're real doors, thank goodness.
But
we're going to... I don't think we're building like a full set. What we'd rather do is just have the doors real and set up. So they'll be, done to proper standards for stage props, so they won't just fall on top of you after you walk through them. And then like a dark curtain curtains between the doors.
Oh, yeah.
So you won't be able to see us running around and stumbling around in the background, which would be just as exciting as our stumbling around and running around in the foreground. Yeah. But that's kind of all we need. That and some key furniture, which we've already got. My costume, I mean, I'm just bringing my old KFC tradie costume with me, which is, I call it a costume, but to any normal DIY guy, it's what they'd normally wear when they're doing, maintenance. But for me, because I'm so far from that, it's a costume.
Yeah.
And I've used it in so many different on set so many different times. So Hank the handyman lives on. And
is that KFC?
Yeah. I got it from my KFC once. You got a good memory. Back in the day, I've used it on my Mitre 10 DIY video where I'm telling everyone how to build stuff. And a short film, I think, and I can't remember. It's had a workout. It's had a run. Definitely tax deductible.
Good.
So that's happening. So the play's moving forward, and we're really excited. We're getting to the stage now where we're looking forward to using the space and really refining our blocking. And making it even funnier. And I'm spending even more time thinking about ways to deliver different things and all that sort of stuff. So once we start rehearsing with props, oh my God, it gets real because lots of things are getting thrown around and we're running around and it's like the timing's got to be spot on. So it's making me a bit nervous, but anyway, we'll get there. One thing I'd like to talk about, speaking of short films earlier, because I've had lots of businessman, lawyer, doctor and all the uniforms, policemen, lots of stuff. I thought it'd be great to sort of play against type. And one film I did with the guys who I filmed The Interrogation with, who have their own little production company, that we interviewed on this podcast actually, Jack and Jacob. They sent me the actually The Taking is the script I originally auditioned with to get on their radar. And it just so happened that for whatever reason I cast in The Interrogation and we recorded that first. But The Taking goes back till, I think, early last year. But it's set to go. It's released on social now. So if you look up The Taking Jacob Wood on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. Or check it out on our socials. I'll share it on the podcast, Facebook and all that. I think I really enjoyed it because it's so against type for me. Like playing a really dark movie, really dark role. This guy's suffered some trauma, whatever it is. He's not altogether there. But then there's a moment where you think, maybe he is, maybe he's right, maybe everything he says makes sense. And when I put it into my showreel, I edited a few bits in the showreel and I shared it with a couple of people and they just stepped back and said, well, look, that showreel's it's pretty dark. That's really dark, that showreel. And I'm like, well, that's okay because it's got me another short reel where I'm having this really domestic argument and quite brutal argument with actress that plays my wife, and then there's a few other not so fun moments in it. So it is quite dark.
Dark showreel.
Yeah, and I don't mind that because Clean Cut Maxi with all these headshots of that and his body of work has certainly got a lot of the whole fun-loving dad, businessman lawyer stuff. Like I think if I get cast that off the headshot, I don't mind showing my range on the showreel. And so, I really enjoyed putting that together. It's a full-on character, and it took a lot out of me filming that. I can still remember on set. So, I'm so glad it turned out even better than I expected.
Nice.
The next one to drop is Water Under the Bridge, which will be a few weeks away. Again, another full-on choice for me, this abusive father.
Is that from the same guys?
No, this is with Afters, where I got called in at the last minute with a mate of mine I'd worked on The Interrogation with. He was cast in it, had to step out for scheduling and just tapped me on the shoulder. I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll look at the script without committing because I don't like doing unpaid stuff now. And although it's Afters and it's unpaid, I looked at the script and it was great. This script is awesome.
Yeah.
And a Zoom meeting later and they really knew what they were doing. And this is just after Afters had published globally with the help of the MEAA there because they developed policies and guidelines around working on set during COVID, which have allowed a lot of productions to keep rolling around the world, including a lot in Australia. We're getting lots of stuff here at the moment because we've sort of got under control, touch wood.
Yeah.
But that was a great production. Again, pretty full on, being this abusive construction worker father, screaming at the daughter and all that sort of stuff. But so I'm looking forward to that dropping soon. Water Under the Bridge.
Very cool.
Can't wait. I've got a showreel of me presenting to camera because I'm getting lots of that corporate stuff.
Yep.
And the agent's got access to that too for maybe a TVC or something. And then I've got my standard showreel and then a US showreel, which I haven't worked on for a while. I think that's the next one.
Yep.
And then I might try and put together some of the lighter character moments because I have a separate sort of... Because, look, when you step back and go, what's the showreel for? It's great at showing your agent what you can do so they know sort of how to submit you.
But also showing, because many people get cast off casting networks now. And, casting directors will look at your profile.
Yep.
So they'll look at the showreel too if you have it up there.
Yeah, and you want to hope they see the whole thing.
You want to see... what you can do pretty much. Your headshot doesn't do it all.
No, and what I like to do is I've got all the showreels there, all 3 US, Australian, and presenting to camera. So depending on the role, that's what I'll submit.
Yeah, nice.
And I think that's nice to have. And then Agent's also got some of my stuff that's hidden on Vimeo where, you know, if it's a particular style of comedy or whatever, they can just submit that. So
yeah.
Look, so it's all coming together, and I'm really literally I was so excited with the taking. I kid you not. As soon as I got it, by the end of the day, I'd already recut my favorite bits into the showreel. It was that. It's, you know, when you're that excited.
I did that with Not Today as well.
Oh my god! I'm like, oh my god, it's so excited. And then she had got some feedback, and then recut it again slightly, and then that's the latest showreel. So feel free to check it out on my YouTube channel and comment as you will. Amazing. But really excited. So. Big news, I just wrapped on set with my 50-worder, my little guest cast role on a television show in Australia that I can't talk about in too much detail, but it'll probably be a couple of months before it goes to air.
Yeah, they're so ahead.
There's a studio spot, and then there's me on location for a couple of days, running around in the foreground, interacting with the regulars, and I did get a line, which I was very happy about.
Nice.
I wasn't mic'd up, so I don't know if it's going to make the cut, but hey, you know, you never know.
The boom, that's fine.
I hope so. It was outdoors. I won't even say. I can't even say where because it'll give it away.
They'll have to dub you with some random.
Yeah,
I'll do it. I'll dub you.
No.
Yes.
So that was really fun. I think it's great to my experience working on lots of corporate stuff of various stages of professionalism with the production companies I work with. Like some are low budget and they're sort of, you know, it's a bit sort of make it up as you go along. One I did where they're literally giving me the script just before. So with that, if you can operate in that environment and pull off a piece to camera that looks like you're relaxed and you're just talking normally, then a set that's really busy and really full on and you don't have the budget to do lots and lots of takes, you can just thrive in that. You can just be dropped in and go, yep, no worries. I think what was important for me, because it's a scene that's quite big, involving a number of extras that they don't normally work with that number. They had 2 third ADs to help. Right. Lots of assets around, various emergency vehicles, that sort of stuff. At least half a dozen of the series regulars. It's like massive scene. And shooting 3 cameras at once, and another shot with a steady cam, you know, running up the beach, running along, doing a 360. This is the sort of stuff that I don't normally do. So I'm like, I'll turn up ready to rock and roll until they tell me to go home. So I'm not worried about what was my call time, when does it finish, when's lunch, because I know they're in territory they're not normally in.
Yeah.
So my goal was just to shut up and watch. And you can see the director came out. He directed me a couple of times, but really when I'm looking at a shot, I'm standing there. I'm watching how the director talks to the DOP, how he talks to the cast, how they do a line read. By that stage, they've got basic blocking. Then they'll do just a cast blocking. And by that stage, I already know where I'm going to be and what I'm going to do. And then the first AD will be briefed and be talking to sound, everyone else, and then to the other ADs who'll be directing background. And in the mix of that, whether it's director, first AD or third ADs, whoever's, you know, telling me where to go, what to do, that then is, yep, got it, thumbs up, and off I go, knowing where I should start, where I should finish. And my goal then is to be as low maintenance as possible.
Yep.
It's clearly not about me, as much as I might like to believe. It's not. There's a lot of moving parts. There's 2 ADs trying to coordinate a lot of extras amongst each other. So the last thing I want to do is have to be directed by them, the first AD, that over and over again. So success for me, and it happened, which is great in every where, you know, I want you to start here, cross after the first cast member before the couple come running up, and then the director wants you to stay in frame and stay in shot. So just, you know, I'm like, yep, no worries, got it. Knowing, you know, what I'm going to do. I've already visualized it from when the cast were doing their line reads. Mm-hmm. I've got it sorted, so I can just go do that and no worries. And it was great because then you're really working with the team. You're going with the tide and adding stuff that's going to be valuable, as opposed to going against the tide and saying, what if I did this? What if I did what? You know, just head down, bum up, you know, eyes open, mouth shut. But look, I got on really well, particularly with the ADs. It was great. I mean, at the end of the day, they're the ones, Fred, they're the ones putting you in the action. So I was sure to thank them when I left for the opportunity and for their, what did I say, constant nagging, which is great.
Good stuff.
So look, it was really amazing. Like, just walked in the middle of it, And with a television series too, especially when you're a 50-worder, when you're a guestie, like the series regulars, like they've got this relationship and with all the crew as well, and it's like they've got all their shorthand. This is what they do all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's great just to shut up and watch because you can really see and learn a lot from that.
100%.
And it's easier for you. Like when I'm talking to the cast members, like just when to talk, when not to talk, whatever, because you're watching what's happening. And as an actor, you're already used to
observe all that
observing.
Stuff. Yeah.
Exactly, you're right.
Yeah.
So quite enjoyed it. There was a couple of hiccups on set. There was look, what not to do, okay? There was another one with a 50-worder who...
what not to do, yeah.
ended up kind of like extra.
Adding
but
more lines.
No. It was like an extra, like being injured. And let's just get you under control, mate, because this show's not about you. It's not Two Unemployed Actors and a Dog. So where, more used like as a featured extra where you're interacting with the cast without any dialogue. And so you're injured. And then there's another scene where I think she's going to be in the studio, in the hospital, in the bed, whatever, injured. But... and I can see why they wanted some actors in those particular roles because they can't afford for an extra that close to camera to sort of do something random, whatever.
Yep.
Having said that, running around handing out first aid stuff is all I'll say. Someone decided on a couple of the takes to unwrap the bandage and start wrapping it around, and they're wrapping it around her leg and sorting the leg out and that, and then
this 50 liner.
Yeah, 50-worder and an extra were teamed up to look injured, and I sort of said, you've done the full bandage sort of thing. I didn't want to say anything too much. Like, I've done my bronze, whatever, I can do my first aid. I'm like, oh. And I just walked away thinking, it's okay. They've obviously been told to do that,
Oh, no.
Then we're setting up for the next scene, which was shot 2 scenes later, but is the actual flow on from that moment.
Okay.
And continuity were a bit stressed. They walked on and said, look, and this is happening behind me. Who told you to put the bandage on? Blah, 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 whatever, I don't know, blah, blah. And then, because out of the four takes, 2 of them, four clean takes, so 4 good takes, that the editor will then decide what to use. You've got 2 where you're wearing the bandage and 2 where you're not. And we're trying to work out what to do now. Because not only in this scene will you be visible, but also in the studio scene where you're in the hospital. And we want to make sure, because that's a big, like your leg wrapped in a bandage kind of stands out of it. And after makeup did a great job on the wounds, like they were really looking like it looked like a zombie apocalypse type thing.
Oh, nice.
But look, it was great. I enjoyed it. And I think at that moment, I just chose to sort of walk away. It was getting a bit uncomfortable because then they'd step back, the continuity would step back, and then the ADs came in and said, who told you to, you've got to make sure that someone tells you to do that, when blah, blah, blah. I'm like, rookie mistake,
Yeah.
It was like a 15-year-old extra who knew not to.
Yeah, no.
You do what you're told. There's no need to
whack older extras.
You know what I mean?
Just do random.
But this
stuff.
was an actor, 50-worder, who was next to the extra who was doing it. It was her leg.
Weird.
So it was uncomfortable enough for me just to walk away.
How did you know the 15-year-old? Because he was like
the 15-year-old. So you've got the 50-worder and the extra involved in this situation that I was a bit uncomfortable, walked away from. Let them deal with it.
Yep.
But separate to that, there's plenty of extras. One of whom I threw another bandage at when I was being Mr. First 80. Good Samaritan was a 15-year-old girl, and she's fine. She just kept throwing it back to me so I could reset faster and get ready to do it again. So not putting it on or doing it because we'll just sit there and they tell you what to do. I mean, it's quite an easy role if you listen. So I'm like, okay, that happened. But no, look, it was considering the amount involved, the amount of people on set at any one time, and we're dealing with all sorts of bits and pieces, which I'll talk about after it's aired. It was impressive, and I was impressed, and I had a great fun time.
Oh, good.
I really enjoyed it, which is awesome.
Good. Well, talking about you brought up your headshots, but talking about headshots, my company that I'm trying, my business that I'm trying to get off the ground, Samfolden Photography. I have my first 2 clients. Technically, they're mates from the cooked shoot, so kind of clients.
We'll call them guinea pigs. But
No, but they're
no, you had 2 clients.
Yeah, and they're I've given them like a really good discount, obviously. But I want so that's great. That's going to come off the ground. I'll probably use their shots.
And isn't it great when you can do something that's related to the industry that you're really interested in.
And I hope that this then takes me out of hospitality.
Yeah, because your survival job is then related, like voiceovers and acting.
100%.
Absolutely.
And Jess and I just did a photo shoot the other night, which was great. Just practicing a bunch of photos, and it looks great. Not necessarily headshots, but they're pretty cool photos.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, talking about wanting to get out of your side job that has nothing to do with the industry.
Survival jobs.
Let's have a quick talk about being overwhelmed, because there are plenty of people out there who are overwhelmed. This is Two Overwhelmed Actors.
Yes.
No. So especially today, I was quite overwhelmed, just because, in this industry, when you're starting out, generally you can't make enough money to sustain yourself.
You're saying yes a lot.
Yeah, and you need that job that earns you a bit of cash. But then, so for me, for example, I'm doing this film. I have auditions. I want more auditions.
Yep.
But then I also have to go back to a normal job.
Yeah, I know.
And you're thinking about everything else, and it just doesn't feel right. And I felt quite overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And you're doing all that at the same time. But it's okay to feel overwhelmed, and there's people to talk to. You just talk to family
normal.
members.
It's normal. There's going to be moments when it gets busy, and you've got personal life Sam, survival job Sam, and acting Sam.
Exactly.
And if you're busy in all three, you're going to feel it's okay to step back and go.
100%.
I'm overwhelmed. I recognise it, but it's going to get a bit quieter shortly, and organise some time for myself.
Talk to people. Talk to your family. Talk to your friends.
Absolutely.
But especially talk to people who understand what you're going through as well, in the sense of they're in the same industry as you. They're creatives, and
they can appreciate what's happening.
It's going to get hard. It's going to get tedious. Obviously, it takes a long time, but you can't give up.
It's a good point.
If it's something you want to do, you can't give up.
Absolutely. It's a good point you raised, Sam. And we talked to Simon Ward a couple episodes ago, who is a psychologist as well as an actor, and is on the MEAA Wellness Committee, which is all about promoting wellness for stage and set productions. So it's a valid point. I think the flip side to your point also is, isn't it good to be busy as an actor? Isn't that what we love?
We love it.
When we're busy as actors, it's a great experience. And considering the world being so unreal at the moment with the coronavirus, it's great to be in a country, an industry in a country where there are still opportunities at the moment. So the flip side's kind of, because I'm an optimist, as you can't tell. I like to sort of spin it, so at least I'm still motivated and have some energy.
Yeah.
But I'm the first to say, like we were talking off camera before.
Go do your best.
About how, I slept in this morning and had naps on the couch, had to go for a walk with Fred and get a coffee just before the podcast.
That's fair enough sometimes.
Because I had 2 full days on set in the sun. Running and jumping, so it's okay to be overwhelmed.
And don't let anyone tell you that you can't do what you want to do. If someone's like, "Oh, you're an aspiring actor," no, you're an actor. You are an actor. You're not aspiring. You're doing it. You're getting there. And
I remember my cousin introduced me a few weeks ago at a party, and this is Max. He wants to be an actor. I said, "No, I am an actor.
Yeah,
I get paid and everything."
You're a creative and you're a performer. What makes you a performer? What makes you an actor?
Exactly.
You decide that. That's you're a creative.
I think you're right.
Anyone tell you otherwise?
I realised long ago when I was a teenager doing radio and broadcasting to air, and I'm like, I realised then, no matter what I do on my show, I'm never going to make everyone who hears it happy with me all the time.
No.
There's always going to be someone who thinks that's wrong, or that could be better, or why don't you try this?
Yeah.
And once you get over that and you realise, you're never going to, especially for those growing up with social media, where you feel pressure to keep up with your mates and all the rest of it, particularly those in front of the camera, it can be really tough. But once you realise, look, you're not going to make everyone happy all the time. You can give yourself a bit of a pat on the back and a bit of a break and say, chill.
Yeah, nice.
Have another drink. No, don't drink.
Random tangent.
I'll be editing that.
Talking about drinks.
Don't have scotch and cokes.
Random tangent.
Yes.
I was out the other night at a place. It's called Shady Pines Saloon. It was like a little...
Been there?
Yeah.
I've tripped up a couple of times.
So went there with a group of the guys who live in Sydney from the Cooked film.
Oh, yeah?
And we bumped into Joel Edgerton and Chris Pratt.
Oh, well done.
And we bought them 2 wines.
Oh, did you? I was going to say, what did you do? Because I just imagine you weren't entirely sober.
We didn't want to be like, hey.
Yeah.
We wanted to just be like, So they were at a whole table with people.
Of course.
And Chris Pratt was lovely. He actually said, "What's your name? What do you guys do?"
That's
nice.
Yeah,
love to work with you guys, good looking lads, or whatever he said.
Yeah. He's a great guy.
But we just wanted to buy them. We bought them 2 bottles of wine. We said we're actors too. We're in a film at the moment. We just wanted to buy you wine. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much. We didn't want to annoy them too much, and that was it. But
That's
we were
great.
sitting at a table right next to them.
Oh, okay. So kind of stalkerish, but not.
Yeah, well, they sat down after us.
Great.
That's the thing.
Great. That's good.
But it was but that stuff. It was really surreal. And that stuff's crazy because one of our mates went to the toilet and there were 4 guys standing there trying to take a photo with Chris Pratt. And all he wants to do is urinate.
Go to the toilet, mate. That's a bit...
But it is crazy.
Quite a bit of a personal selfie too. That one, it's kind of... for a relaxed dude with a sense of humour. I don't know how relaxed he'd be.
Yeah. But everything's here now. Sydney is the new LA at the moment. Or Australia is.
Thor.
Sorry.
That's right. Chris is in
Yeah,
Thor.
Chris is here for Thor. Joel is just here, I think. But he must be... He's Aussie.
Maybe he's looking for a gig.
But is it Chris Hemsworth's here as well? I think
it's getting busy. Liam Hemsworth just finished his action flick. I think I spoke about last time. They were doing a car chase in Canberra, actually, down the road here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's nothing much else to do in Canberra, really. But
a car chase.
So, yeah.
Questacon.
I've lived
Questacon.
there. But, and after that, 2 hours.
Yeah.
But, there's lots of productions being booked. I know we touched on it last time, but it's still happening. I think for those actors with a solid US showreel and a good agent submitting you for stuff, hopefully it's only a matter of time because there's a lot booked for this year and next year. It's quite the boom.
Yes.
Which is good. So, wow, what a full show. We're doing all right.
It was a good show.
Yeah, we're doing okay.
Nice.
We're doing okay. For 2 actors to be busy enough to fill a podcast each week, I think we're doing all right.
We're doing okay.
I'm just giving myself a pat on the back now so I don't feel too overwhelmed. And then I'm going to go have a nap.
Do it. Lucky you.
You've been listening to Two Unemployed Actors. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
And before I choke on my coffee, oh my God. It's just not happening today, is it? Make sure you subscribe on your favourite podcast platform. Follow us and engage with us even on social media. And you'll be hearing from us again next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Two unemployed actors.